Hey everyone, what's up? And welcome back to my channel. It's Josh. So in my last video, I showed you guys my almost vintage Coach collection. And I mentioned in that video that, I love vintage Coach bags. And a couple of you wrote in and asked me how I keep mine so clean, because all of mine, like, I've used my Coach bags, but for the most part they are in, pretty good to almost new condition. And so today, what I'm going to show you is like the absolute, like, hardcore spa cleansing of a vintage Coach bag. Now, because all of mine are in, again, pretty good to almost new condition, I didn't feel like it was going to be terribly interesting for me to show you, a good cleansing on one of my bags. So I actually went on eBay and I found like the cheapest vintage Coach bag I could. This is a Coach Janice, or Janice's Legacy. And this bag is from 1996. So this bag is about 23 years old. And it's actually, again, this bag is also in quite good shape given how old it is. Like, the leather isn't brittle or anything like that. But it is definitely a bit worn. There's some staining on the sides here. There's a couple ink stains. The corners are kind of worn. The bag, the inside, it doesn't smell. There's no odor to this one, but it definitely needs a good cleansing. Because, especially if you're buying a vintage Coach bag on like the internet, eBay, Poshmark, whatever, and you're buying it to, like, you can use it as your bag, you really want to know that the inside is clean. Now, I should also mention that this is going to be specific to the old, like, vintage Legacy leather. I wouldn't do this to the newer coated canvas bags. I wouldn't do this to the new leather bags. The thing is, we're going to submerge this bag in a tub of soapy water, or a sink full of soapy water. And we really want to make sure that the whole bag can dry, because if you don't let these dry properly, that's when you get, like, that musty odor, you get mildew, you get mold, you get all kinds of gross stuff. So, before we get started, I want to show you exactly what I use for this cleaning process, so you know what to go and get from the grocery store or from Amazon. The first thing that we're going to start with, before we cleanse the bag, depending on the bag that you have or that you buy, you may need to touch up the hardware here. Vintage Coach bags use solid brass hardware, which is awesome, but brass does have a tendency to tarnish. So the first thing I'm going to grab is my Brasso. This stuff is amazing. It will literally bring back any kind of brass hardware that you might have. And what I do with this is I put a little bit of the Brasso, I just kind of tip this guy, I put a little bit in the cap and I just kind of swirl a cotton swab around and I go over the hardware and it will clean it up like you wouldn't imagine. Okay, so for the actual bath, I'm going to use, I just realized I forgot to bring out my Dawn dish detergent, but I'm going to use a little bit of a laundry detergent, and then I'm also going to use a little bit of, like, either Dawn dish soap or Palmolive or something, any kind of grease-cutting dish detergent. If your bag has an odor, again, mine luckily does not, this one does not, you can also grab a little bit of distilled white vinegar. You don't want to drench the bag in this, but you want to use enough so that you can deodorize it. Then, when the bag comes out of our bath, we're going to thoroughly dry it off. So you're going to want to grab like a big bath towel, and we'll go in and actually kind of, again, pat the interior dry as well. Then from there, we're going to leave the bag out. I usually leave it out overnight. For about 24 hours. Leave it outside somewhere where it has lots of, like, natural air circulation. If you have a clothesline or somewhere where you can actually hang the bag up and not have it sitting on the ground, that's even better, because then the bottom will dry as well. And then I will take a leather conditioner. This is the Coach branded leather moisturizer. This stuff is great. It's very thick. It's almost like a good, like, lotion. It feels like La Mer cream for your bags. I also have Apple Guard leather conditioner. The difference between these two is that the Coach is more like a lotion, and the Apple Guard is it's runnier. It's like almost kind of watery. For this particular instance, I'm going to use this because this is like, again, it's a thick kind of lotion, and so that'll really get into the leather and really help to moisturize it. Then the last step is any sides or any pieces of the bag where you might need to touch up, like if there's color loss. For that, we're going to grab a shoe polish. I actually have, this is like probably 10 years old now, and I have barely even used it. This is a navy blue shoe cream. So it's basically shoe polish, but The difference between this and something like, the drugstore, the kiwi stuff that you can find at the drugstore, it's a really creamy consistency, where the kiwi stuff, the drugstore shoe polish stuff, really is more of a wax. It doesn't do as good a job as the actual shoe cream, which is why I really, really like this stuff. So before we actually do the cleanse, again, I'm going to do the Brasso and clean the hard. Then I will meet you down in my laundry room, and then we'll just go ahead and clean and condition this guy and bring it back to life. So we're going to take our Q-tip and dip it in the Brasso, and then you can just really start cleaning away all that tarnish. You want to get inside as well, just kind of like twist it around inside that hole. Keep a wet rag with you, and then that way you can just kind of wipe as you go. Crazy. So here's what I just did, and now look at the bottom. I mean, look at how, what a difference Brasso makes. Alright guys, welcome to my laundry room. I'm going to plug up the sink and we'll just start drying the bath. I'm really not going to use that much detergent. You don't need that much soap at all, period. This is maybe like 2 tablespoons or so. And I'm going to put a little bit of this in here. The Dawn you can be a little bit more liberal with. Okay, so here we go. Alright guys, here we go. So we've got our bag kind of sopping wet here. We're going to dry this guy as best we can with towels to kind of, again, just take out as much moisture as we can right away. Okay, so let's just start dabbing this guy off. Okay, so here we have our bag. I've dried it as best I can, I think, by hand with towels. And you can see, I mean, look at this bag. It is in such amazing, this leather is so incredible that, again, this is after washing it, and there's no, it's not staining, it's not warping, it's not, doing anything weird. And yet we have fully cleaned and fully submerged and fully cleansed the inside of the bag and everything. Now, depending on what kind of bag it is that you have, the other thing that we'll do halfway through is, I'm trying to see if I can do this on camera, is around the 12-hour mark of 12 hours of leaving it outside, I am going to actually turn this guy inside out. So the inside, this is the outside, the lining on the of the bag itself. There's the bottom seam. So around 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, I'll do this, and I'll let the second 12 hours be, let the inside dry out completely. Such a pretty fall day here today. Okay guys, so here we go. Here's the bag. It is still definitely a little bit damp, but we're going to leave it out here for about 24 hours. I'm just going to leave it sitting like this. I want to make sure that the opening, though, is, nice and, again, it can breathe there. So tomorrow morning I will come back on camera, and the only thing that we have left to do is condition the outside of the bag, but it's really, really important that to do that the whole bag be completely nice and dry. Good morning! Okay, so it's been about 24 hours. I just brought the bag back inside, and before we do the whole conditioning process, I wanted to flip the camera around and show you guys up close in detail how amazing this bag has come out. And I want to prove to you that soaking it in our bubble bath didn't ruin the bag at all. So here's the bag. It has been thoroughly cleansed in our little bubble bath there yesterday. And look at this leather. I mean, it has now been fully soaked and fully dried again. And you can see, I mean, the bath is not going to take out staining like that, but it is definitely going to clean both the, the exterior and interior surfaces of the bag. And that's sort of what what's so important about doing that kind of cleanse, especially, again, if this is a vintage bag. Alright guys, so you can see here along the edge we've got some definite like color wear. The kind of coating on the leather has definitely been worn down. So we're just going to take a little, like you really don't need a lot. And I'm just going to take this and really, really gently go along this edge here and just kind of color over any of the spots that have some of that wear on them. Okay, so this bag has sat for probably about, I'd say, an hour or so. Our shoe cream it's never really going to dry, but it's definitely cured a little bit. So I'm just going to take our towel here and kind of buff it out. Okay, so I think that's about good, and we've kind of, again, definitely restored the color to the trim on this bag. Alright guys, so we are ready to condition our bag. I have here this morning you probably can't see that, it's like a microfiber kind of cloth. I like microfiber for doing the conditioning because it's not as abrasive as your average, like, hand towel or washcloth or bath towel. These cloths are great. This is our last step. I'm super excited because this is honestly one of the most fun parts about this, because this is where you get to bring back that, the healthy, vibrant, the really supple, buttery, soft leather by using our conditioner. So yeah, let's get started. You guys, these bags are just incredible. Like, look at the condition. Look at the way that the corners came out. Look at the luster on that leather here now. I mean, I got it with some wear on it, and and still it came out just beautifully. These bags will last you a lifetime if you take care of them, if you cleanse them, if you clean and condition the leather as they need to be. They will last you. They are literally absolutely lifetime pieces. And then one more thing before we wrap up. I already have a big collection of these bags, so I really don't need another one. I just wanted to buy this to do the whole cleaning process with you guys on an actual bag, an actual vintage bag from the internet. But I don't need this. I would have no use for it, and I don't know, I just I don't really want to hold on to things that I'm not going to use. So I'm going to list this on my Poshmark, and link will be in the description below for that. I will put pictures and measurements and everything in the Poshmark listing. So if you want this bag, it'll be up for sale. If you have any questions about the whole process or my Coach bags in general, leave those down in the comments below. I always get back to you as quickly and as thoroughly as I can. And I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.